Hello and welcome back to another EDH deck tech video. Today I'm going to be showing my Stalking Tiger deck. This is obviously not a legal commander. It is not a legendary creature. It is also a card not printed in any legal set. This is the Holiday 2013 promotional card. Therese Nielsen did the original artwork of a green tiger, stalking tiger, way back when, and was asked to do the artwork for this one. And this is something that, while not legal, my friends have all given me permission to play as a commander. I mean, this is not actually a good commander. It's a 5-drop, 3/3, no other ability creature other than that it comes into play with a booster pack under it, and if it deals combat damage, I essentially get the cards in the pack to my hand. So, this is the only illegal card in the deck. What I wanted, my experiment, my idea, was to make a colorless 5-color deck. Because, obviously, I'm playing a colorless deck. I can't play things like a mountain or a forest in the deck, and things that tap for colored mana are going to be awkward. Yet, the pack I'm getting off of Stalking Tiger is going to have all 5 colors of cards in the pack. And that does include possibly a basic land I could play for a turn. So, that's the point of the deck. 5-color, colorless, or colorless 5-color. That's the deck. So we have essentially the remnants of my Hope and Toy Boat deck here. This is turned into a mana-focused deck with some very awkward inclusions. Now again, this is an illegal commander, so not everyone will let me play it. I also may not have a billion booster packs on me. So I do have a backup commander, which is Ulamog. This is my favorite Eldrazi. I don't like running Ulamog or Eldrazi's as commanders, but this one is just my preference. The reason I've chosen that as a alternate commander, this deck is entirely obsessed with creating mana. Like there's 37 lands, yes, but there are 17 mana rocks, 3 mana dork creatures, Solemn and Burnished Heart. So literally 60% of this deck is based around making mana. So it shouldn't be too hard to get an Ulamog out. Let's go through the creatures now. And again, this is kind of where you're going to see the awkwardness. So legally, things that normally tap for color, like a shock land, I cannot play in a colorless deck. But a 3-drop mana dork that taps for any color, this is a legal card because the symbols, the mana symbols, are not printed on this card. I can also use it to dick around with some, like, if someone equips a creature with a pro sword, I can make the sword the color or the creature the color, or things, funny things like that. That ability is just of a joke. This is more or less a 3-drop mana dork. Same thing, we have a unicorn because it's a 3-drop mana dork. We have a 3-drop mana dork, a nice 2/2. I love this mirror, he's so cute. We have a 4-drop that we have to charge up. We do have the ability to create a lot of colored mana in the deck, so we could do Converge for 4, where we can just slowly charge them up. We have generic artifact good stuff. We have a Mere Retriever and a Junk Driver. Again, there's a lot of Eldrazi to play in the deck. The deck does want to, like, I was tempted to make it so the deck couldn't win without the cards from a booster pack donation. But, I mean, that's a bunch of bulk crap cards. Like, a booster pack, the content of a booster pack is not going to help me win a game. So we have to have a lot of extra fillers. We have a Scrap Trawler for the last bit of recursion. Pilgrim's Eye, we can get wastes with a Pilgrim's Eye. Same thing, Burnished Heart can grab wastes, the basic land of this deck. And same thing. Now we have an S-Champion still. This is, again, just a generically good card in a colorless deck full of so many artifacts. He's going to help us get through. And we have a Matter Reshaper. I finally picked one up, and a Treasure Keeper. I actually recorded the Toy Boat video almost 2-3 weeks ago, and I think it's public. I have to check. At the time I didn't have this, but now I have one, and these two are fun. So essentially, I need to stop saying essentially, when this creature dies, I will either get a free 3-drop into play, or I will draw a card. When this one dies, I will cascade for a 3-drop. Now we have some beaters. We have a nice Soul of New Phyrexia. I decided not to put in all the generically commonly seen beaters in this deck. I wanted some different, so we have a Soul, Smasher still in there. We have an Oblivion Sower. This is one way we can get colorful mana from the opponents. Now, I do have a bit of a gripe, since I think it was rule number 2 is what was removed about a year ago, which is allowing me to create colored mana in this deck. That does feel like it's a flavor fail, but because that has happened, I can now actually pursue this deck. And this helps, like I can literally get a colorful land from an opponent. Endbringer is a great Eldrazi. This one lets me ping and draw, and it is... While I normally want to draw more, this second ability, target creature can't attack or block, is very relevant. I have a few ways. I mean, this is a 5-drop 3/3. There's no trample, there's no evasion. I have to find some way of getting the tiger through. And that's one way. We have a duplicate for some removal and a scuttling Doom Engine. I mean, this could be Steel Hellkite or Wormcoil, but I want to give this card some play. It's fun. You can do fun things when you clone it with Kiki Jiki, for example. We have another, this could be another type of card, etc., but this is a dumbed down Annihilator. It's a 7-drop, 7/5. He's cute. He was probably going to die real fast. We have an Oracle, another way of drawing cards. And we have a 9-drop for reanimating. Another Void Winnower, just because I really like the card. I mean, this is a really annoying card. It's not one of the cards that immediately ends the game, but it does cause so much turmoil. We have, I took the Eldrazi, the legendary Eldrazi out, so I wanted at least one in here as a surprise, not legendary. And Metalwork Colossus is typically free after turn 4 or 5, like just a free 10/10, which is something we can always recur. Now that's the creatures. Let's go through the second most important part of the deck, the mana ramp. There's again 16 rocks here. The whole point of this deck is, again, we need to get colorful mana and hopefully get Stalking Tiger out early before the opponent can stop me from building and connecting with it. So I'm actually running Mana Crypt. We have the Soul Ring and a Bauble because this gets wastes. This is a new fun card that tends to get bounced or blown up as soon as you get the 3rd counter on it. So it could be a 1-drop, build your own Gilded Lotus. This also does tap when successful for any color, like this is a filter, so this can help us produce color in our deck. This should be a Thought Vessel. I need that for an infinite hand size. I'm missing them because, I mean, at some point my goal is to get 15 extra cards in my hand. So infinite hand size helps. That's what that's supposed to be. Chromatic Lantern is by far the most important card in the deck, because it immediately fixes all my color issues. It literally lets me play every card from a booster pack without having mana color issues. So this one is, from what I've played, it's a common threat that my opponents want to kill. They want to limit my color production. Darksteel Ingot won't go anywhere, but it does give me the colors. Manolith is, again, this is something that if you were actually wanting to play a legitimate Eldrazi deck, and you wanted to resolve this or Kozilek, this would be like a Worn Power Stone or a Grim Monolith, but I want the color, so I'm playing Manolith. Same thing, Spectral Searchlight, a somewhat political card. You can make deals to donate a mana to somebody if they probably will backstab you. Coalition Relic for a little bit of mana. Cultivator's Caravan, again, is just taps for color. Kalani Gem, this is an old fun one. Not that old, just about 5 years now. Or whatever, whenever Zendikar came out. But I mean, this requires the bounce of lands. So this deck tends to empty its hand with all this mana ramp, and we don't mind just replaying a land or two. But a 4-drop that taps for 2, this literally could be just about anything better. Like, if I didn't care about the colored aspect of this, this could be a Sisay's Ring. We have a Thrawn Dynamo, which is still here for Colorless, Hedron Archive, which is still Colorless, and then Gilded Lotus, and a Dreamstone Hedron. So all that, bunch of mana. I mean, even though these are slightly suboptimal, like I'm not running Grim Monolith or like Worn Power Stone or a Mana Vault, this still can push out an Ulamog pretty quickly if I'm playing him. Let's get these out of the way. Now I'm missing one equipment I want to get called Prowler's Helm. It's a really bad 2-drop, equipped for 2. Equipped creature can't be blocked except by walls. That is the casual jank shit that I'm running in this deck, just so I can guarantee Stalking Tiger connects. But, I mean, Sword of the Animus is fantastic. It still gets wastes into play. We have Sword of Vengeance to give the Tiger trample. We have Trailblazer's Boots, so the Tiger can walk all over non-basic lands. Warhammer is again for trample. and the cloak is there just to try to get the tiger through and protect it. We have Key to the City again to give the Stalking Tiger unblockable, and Bogarden, however you pronounce that, because again, infinite hand size is important. If this connects, I will be drawing about 15 cards. Draw. I mean, I probably need to reiterate, before you guys think drawing 15 cards is actually like powerful, take the time to consider what is inside of a booster pack. The cards are garbage. I have played this for about a week already. I haven't pulled anything relevant. I think I got a like a Skyship Sovereign against somebody. I got the Sphinx Unesh, the legendary one, as a Fact or Fiction. Those are like some of my best draws, and everything else is a bunch of like draft crap creatures and like overcosted 5+ mana costing removal spells. Not good. So the only reason this is even fun to play is that I'm just filling my hand up with so much crap that is unexpected in the game. But it's important. I don't want to discard it. Discarding or casting spells like an instant or sorcery, they go to the exile stack. I'm not allowed to keep them in my deck. So as soon as one of the spells is destroyed, it is exiled. So the best thing I can do is hope I don't have to discard. Oracle's Vault. We'll get it back on target here. This is pseudo card advantage. Eventually it could be like the Pyramid. It could be charged up and be free card advantage. Is good. We have Tamio's Journal. I know this is a bad card. I'm playing with this because it's funny. It's not funny, it's just interesting. It's very slowly, this could be card draw. Like every turn it survives, I could pay to get an extra card. I have Venser's Journal in here because, again, I want infinite hand size, so flavorfully, thematically, it's here. Mind's Eye for some draw, Staff It In for some draw. Planar Bridge, just like before, this is pseudo draw, just card advantage, or a threat answer / whatever I need. More likely than not, this is going to go get Darksteel Forge and put it into play. We have Magic Mirror, as Stephen Green from Star City Games likes to call it. The Mirage Mirror. This is a dumb card. 2 mana to become anything, and you can stack the abilities. For example, someone has an Urborg and Coffers. You could pay 2 to make it a Coffers and put something else on the or make it a copy of something and then make it a copy of Coffers. Have that resolve first. Use it for mana. It becomes tapped. Second ability resolves. This is dumb. Like becoming a copy of a Lage land, whatever Dark Depths. Dumb card is dumb. I like making copies of giant creatures or whatever is on the play. Mimic Vat, again, this is just generically good. This is left over from Hope. The power behind this card is fantastic. If you can grab Solemn Solemn, it just this is the thing that can help you get to the end of the game. Again, same leftover cards. Flash is just good. This is here again for infinite hand size, and Darksteel Forge because I have a billion artifacts in this deck. There are 3 spells in this deck. I don't have the Planeswalkers anymore. They have gone to better decks, but I have added Spatial Contortion as a little bit of a removal spell. It's just something that the deck needed. We still have the 7-drop Exile at instant speed, and we still have All Is Dust because sacrificing nothing in our deck is fantastic. And let's finish this up with the lands. Again, this is where it's going to get really awkward. So when you think of colorless decks, you think of all the amazing tech land you can run because you don't have to worry about the color. This is where this deck becomes a bit weaker because I am playing some very strange lands. I am playing Forbidden Orchard. Like, all these lands are just not something you would ever expect to see in a colorless deck. Especially in the late, 2 years where wastes and all the deserts, and there's been so many powerful colorless lands being played, but yet I'm playing Exotic Orchard. There's Lotus Veil, because I can tap this for colored mana. Scorched Ruin was in the deck, but that's no longer in here. We have City of Brass. These are the Pain lands. Spire of Industry being a new Pain land, I will almost always have an artifact. And Mana Confluence is another City of Brass variant. We have Tarnished Citadel and Grand Colosseum, a come into play tapped City of Brass, and a City of Brass that may bolt me for mana. We have, this is the, he's getting confused because this is Russian, of course I'm not going to get it right. Gemstone Caverns or Gemstone Mines. This is the one that if I have it in my opening hand, I can exile a card from my hand and put this straight into play with a luck counter. It either taps for colorless, or if there's a luck counter, it taps for any color. I have a playset of these in my legacy deck. I need to show that video shortly. Rupture Spire, I don't have the Transguild Promenade in here, but this is essentially a come to play tap land. I have to pay for it to not be self-sacrificed, but it taps for any color. Tendo Ice Bridge is colorless until I need to use that one single counter. Same thing, Aether Hub is just, in this deck, it's another Tendo Ice Bridge. I won't have any other way of creating energy, so it's a one-shot Tendo variant. Meridian's Core is something I can charge to eventually get color. Unknown, now these are all the same card essentially. Unknown Shores, Shimmering Grotto, and Painted Bluffs. They are literally the exact same card. They all tap for colorless, or I can pay 1 to get a color. We have Cascading Cataracts. I love this card, it's indestructible, and I can pay 5 to get all 5. I mean, it's a bad filter essentially. We have Survivor's Encampment. I can use it for colorless, or I can tap an untapped creature, Springleaf Drumming, essentially with a land. We have Urborg. This one land will fix all my black problems. This also means I can do something like tap the Mana Confluence without losing life for black. And then we're on to the non-colorful lands. We still have the Phyrexia's Core, because I have a bunch of artifacts in here I can try to recycle. Inventor's Fair is again just so I can try to tutor up something relevant. Zoadic Cavern is still in here just because it's a generically good placeholder. Shrine of the Forsaken Gods is nice, it just tends to generate more mana later. Darksteel Citadel again for just the artifact randomness. Reliquary Tower because I need that infinite hand size. High Market because I might be running Ulamog as a commander. And the worst thing that can happen is someone just treacherying or taking control of your commander, or yeah, it's hard to deal with an Ulamog if you yourself don't have appropriate colorful answers like Path to Exile. So you have to sack it before they get it. And then the rest of these are the same waste from the other little deck. I still have 6 of these. I chose actually to go ahead and put 6 of these in as well. This is, I really don't know why they bothered like even making this. Like, sure, respect the artists, whatever. This thing is gorgeous. This would be pretty if this was on the same set. It's hard to describe. Anyways, that is my Stalking Tiger deck. Again, this is 100% not legal. This is not even legendary. This deck is also very whimsical. So yes, I can ramp out big shit fast. I can definitely connect with Stalking Tiger easily, and I can definitely trigger and draw the deck into my hand, the booster pack into my hand. That doesn't mean I'm actually off to a good start. Like, I could literally have just drawn a bunch of like overcosted draft creatures. I mean, like the best, this may from an outside perspective seem broken maybe, or obscure. I'm definitely not going to go do something like Modern Master Booster packs with this. My goal is to always use the cheapest packs possible, and that's going to be our Devastation for the next few months, because that set is dirt cheap. But yeah, this is a very funny, whimsical deck. I will continue playing this until my opponents refuse to let me play this, or when I'm out of booster packs, then I have one alternative, which I don't actually enjoy running Eldrazi in the command zone. Ulamog here is just, this is my favorite. Like, yeah, get out of here. So if you guys have any feedback or ideas, if you just have any funny opinions about this, let me know. This is definitely not something you're going to ever see. Hopefully, I mean, I love the idea of people picking up my ideas and running with them, but this is an odd one, and this is a deck where you have to have booster packs available to functionally play your commander, so that's a financial strain to play a deck. So that probably is going to limit my own ability to play the deck. But yeah, any ideas or feedback, let me know. Always welcome.